All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Buffalo Bills moved to 7-3 for the... It exhausts me to talk about what it is in franchise history. Ultimately, we've landed in a place where we are still in control of our own destiny. More so than some of these other sad sacks out there in the AFC. Today's game was not all sunshine and rainbows, but you can't be angry about the outcome of today's game. There's nobody. If there is a down note to today's game, I would say it comes with the injury of Ty Nsekhe. Ty Nsekhe is a guy that I pinned for this team in the offseason. We signed him, and he did exemplary in our offense. And yet, now he gets carted off the field with what looked like a knee injury, even though the schmucks on the field put a cast around his ankle. I don't know. It's not good. And ultimately, it's not good for the Bills' future. But we're 7-3. And we won a game that we should have won. Ultimately, you win the games that get put in front of you. That's all you can do. And with that, I'm going to open up the floor to questions.
Josh Allen, 21 of 33, 256, 3 touchdowns. What did he do wrong?
Josh Allen didn't do a lot wrong today. Watching him play the game for one of the first times all season, as someone who's been critical, Josh Allen did a lot of things right. He threw the ball away when he needed to. He ran the ball when he needed to. He made decisive throws, even if they were short of the sticks. He made decisive decisions when he needed to. It's yards. Yards are yards are yards. And when you stack them on top of each other, that wins a football game. Ultimately, today, Josh Allen was one of the best iterations of Josh Allen I've ever seen.
Drew, today the Bills held the Dolphins to 23 yards rushing today. Would you say that they more or less fixed their rushing defense problems at this point?
I'm sorry, Michael Partham from the internet. Why don't you yell that from the back one more time?
Bills held Miami to 23 yards rushing. Would you say they more or less fixed their defensive rushing problems at this point?
I wouldn't say you fixed your defensive rushing problems. When in reality, you're playing a team whose key running back has averaged 1.7 yards per touch this season. Last week, he was an atrocious 1.9. This season, or at least this week, he wasn't much better. Kalen Ballage actually had a better day against the Buffalo Bills than he's had against anybody else. And when I stop and think about what might be going on, I think about our linebacking core. I think about our defensive line. Today, you saw Buffalo Bills defense play one of the most complete games they've played in a long time. In a long time. And so you saw newcomer Corey Legit get a sack. Multiple sacks had across the defensive line. But they held the running backs. And that's what makes this game. They did not allow the running backs of the Miami Dolphins to get going. I think that you have to give a lot of credit to the front seven of the Buffalo Bills, because at this point, they've done the yeoman's work, and they were the thing that allowed us to go on and win this football game.
Devin Singletary, 15 carries, but he did fumble the ball twice. What do you say to the game plan of more carries for Singletary?
What can you say to the game plan? Is that even a question? If anyone in the paid media asks a question about the decision to give Singletary more carries, slap that man, take his pass, and also take his underwear. No, I don't mean pants him. I mean take his underwear off his person. You rip him off him. He doesn't deserve him. That's one of the dumbest fucking questions I've ever heard. Singletary against Washington proved that with a heavier workload, you'll see a better production from your rushing attack. Well, guess what? You gave him a heavy workload today. A week removed from the much maligned 11 carry game.
It was 8.
No, 11 for your backfield. You doubled down on your backfield. You made them a focal point of the offense today, and they rewarded you. Singletary got the job done. He shows a shiftiness that you can't make up. That you can't. Chris, tell me I'm wrong. You can't make up guys who are shifty in the hole and the impact it has on the defense.
Not at all. What do you say with Josh Allen's chemistry today with John Brown? 137 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Listen, him and John Brown have been on the same page all year. They just needed a weak secondary to prove it against. That, hey, when a wide receiver sees a quarterback and a quarterback sees a wide receiver and their eyes go, that's a match made in heaven. This is a quarterback who likes to throw behind, but with velocity. Brown can catch those passes. It's what makes him the ideal target for what Josh Allen's bringing to the table. No, he's not the most accurate quarterback, but he's going to hum it. He's going to hum the ball in there. And there was one early on in the game where I criticized Brown for dropping. But with that said, man, did he come through big. He came through with short catches, long catches, intermediate catches. John Brown proved today that he is a wide receiver who can work all 3 levels of a defense.
Drew, today the Dolphins had 198 kick return yards as well as a touchdown. Is the special teams defense a concern for you going forward?
The kick return! Who in their right mind? When I'm watching the attempt that they made to cover the kick, I understand that there's something. The returners get paid too. These guys get money. And so as this guy is breaking through the ranks of the Buffalo Bills, there's one guy who could make a play. One guy who could lay it out on the line to try to keep a carrier out of the end zone. His name is Stephen Hauschka. What I saw was, if I was attempting to slap a woman's ass at a bar, what I saw out of Stephen Hauschka on that tackle attempt was the weakest iteration of that I've ever seen in my entire life. He was playing grab ass with grown men running full speed. It was embarrassing. I mean, I get it that they made this game they tried to give Hauschka all of the reps in order to get his confidence back. But that one play right there tells me this guy, his heart's not in it. And that's troublesome.
All right, can we go to the defensive side of the ball? What do you have to say in the play of the linebackers today?
I'm going to illustrate. That's what our linebackers did against this Miami offense. They ate, son. They got down. When you watch our linebackers coming downhill, you watch Tre Edmunds making disruptive play after disruptive play. At this point in his young career, he's already becoming a disruptor. Lorenzo Alexander on the first series of the game, almost getting a safety. What our front seven did the yeoman's work for our defense. I think our secondary let us down in this game. I think ultimately when it came to airing the ball out, you'd expect that a defense with a secondary or a yards against rating as high as ours is would do better. And yet at the same time, our secondary really disappointed today. I'm hoping for a bounce back performance next week because we're going to need it. I mean, we're talking about the Broncos that just hung 23 points on Minnesota's defense. The Bills, they move on. They're 7-3. Guys, crack a beer, celebrate, but then it's back to work tomorrow. Go Bills.